Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Roan. I am a big believer in the look good, feel good, play good mindset, and Roan helps me accomplish that. Get 20% off all their products when you go to roan.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. Coming up today, I kind of want to break down where I think this Cowboys starting lineup is. And this is a little bit more of a projection than it is here, now, in the moment, since we know the rookies still need some time to develop there. More on the starters, less on the backups than we spent on the depth chart version of this video. Now, if you can't wait for the Cowboys 2024 season to get here, it's a long wait until we get to real games in September, then like today's video right now. We should begin with the coaching staff, by the way, and that is led by your head coach and your play caller. That's Mike McCarthy, of course. The offense and the team overall is great in the regular season. This idea that a team that has won 12 games in 3 straight seasons is actually a terrible football team is false. We have to start these conversations in the correct spot. If you, not you, this is more a big media rant, come in with, hey, this is a trash team. No, you're just wrong. You're not starting in the right spot. There is a very real conversation to have, and we've had it many a time because we're right to have it, about the postseason results, the big game results. Now, this team does a great job out knocking out the first 75, 80% of it. They got to get better in the postseason. So the regular season matters to get there, but if they can win 12 games again, we're not going to be happy if the playoff results are what they've been the past 20-something years, which isn't fair to put on this team, but that's the pressures that come with being with this organization right now. So starting at QB, despite what some might try to push for, it's clearly Dak Prescott. And the goal is to have him put up a very similar regular season as what he did last year, and then better postseason results. Again, the quarterback, fair or not, and it's normally not fair, tends to shoulder more of the blame and more of the credit when things go wrong and when things go correct. What I would like to see this team do, and the quarterback does get blame here, start games better. It would be nice, and there's the most common trend, actually, with Cowboys losses over the past 3 years. There's one thing in particular that really stands out. It's not the quarterback. It's not the defense. Not always the head coach. Not always the flags. It's the running game. The running game for this Cowboys team in losses has consistently been bad. Games where they want to be able to lean on the ground game hasn't been there. And running back, I think, is the biggest question mark right now on this team. Who actually is your week 1 starter? I would argue it should be Rico Dowdle. I think he's the best football player at the position on the roster right now. Part of the reason why I wasn't in love with the Zeke signing is I don't trust this team, this organization, to not go, well, let's just make it Zeke. I am hopeful he will be better than what he's been, at least in 2023, relative to his impact there and his efficiency. I'll focus more on success rate with Elliott than other things. I think Dowdle offers you more big plays. That's what I crave in the running back room. I can get 3 yards of carry from anybody. I need more big plays than that. So when it comes to the top 2 contenders for the starting, quote-unquote, backfield spot, who has more yards in 2024? EE for Ezekiel Elliot, RD for Rico Dowdle. Pin comment, so if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage and go vote. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is one starter at wide receiver. Brandin Cooks is the other. And then there will be something involving, I think, a rotation at wide receiver 3. But I think Jalen Tolbert, who seems to have added some weight, by the way, in a positive sense, is in line to be the 3rd wide receiver. With Jake Ferguson, more on him in a little bit, I don't need Tolbert to be a superstar caliber player, but I do need him to be a reliable piece. I need him to contribute in a positive sense and take another step forward relative to what he did last year. He had massive growth from year 1 to year 2. Let's see more of that growth. Double it and pass it along, right? Maybe that's the goal for Tolbert in terms of pure production. Now, today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Roan. I think the mail closet was kind of due for a radical reinvention. Stuff was stiff, tight. It didn't fit well, both the shorts, and I still see way too many just kind of ugly, baggy pants. Not an issue with Roan. They have products for every occasion. the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, and blazers. They look great as individual pieces and then work seamlessly together as well. They have their signature 4-way stretch fabric. It's breathable, flexible, and works everywhere from work to commute to and from work, or if you just want to feel comfortable working from home or going out on the town, drinks, golf course, whatever, Rhone has you covered. The Commuter Collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Upgrade your closet with Rhone. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. No-brainer here at tight end. It's Jake Ferguson. I thought he played really well last year, and I was a little mad at times with, I think there's room to give him more usage. He's not Travis Kelce, George Kittle 2.0, whatever, but there was no real drop-off from Dalton Schultz to Jake Ferguson, and that's a big deal, I think, for Dallas. And sure, the quarterback can get some credit for helping to maximize him, but there's clearly some chemistry there. It works. I like what I saw from Ferguson last year. I think there's room to continue to move forward. On to the offensive line. So the only guaranteed locks, barring injury, which we're not talking about injuries because there's bad luck, knock on wood, Tyler Smith at left guard, Zack Martin at right guard, Terence Steele at right tackle. The other two spots, I think this team wants to make it Tyler Guyton, and they want it to be Cooper Beebe. Now, Guyton is a developmental tackle. We know he is raw. He's working with Duke Manyweather. I am excited to see how his growth continues. I would still probably rather play a raw Guyton than just a bad Chuma Edoga at left tackle, but Guyton has to showcase what he can do in the preseason still. This offensive line coach, Mike Solari, loves Brock Hoffman, and that's a good thing to have that guy on the roster. You spend a top 75 pick on Cooper Beebe. I think, in general, what young centers can often struggle with is trying to make all the signals, all the different inputs there. The good news is this quarterback in Dallas, Dak Prescott, has a tremendous amount of that already on his plate. So I think the veteran quarterback with the young center, I think that combination actually can work. So I'm hopeful, my goal, I think this team's goal, is Guyton and Beebe starting day one, first-year players along the offensive line. Over to the defense here. Look, changes are coming to this unit under Mike Zimmer. It's not going to be massive, wholesale, wildly reckless. We're now playing everyone in different positions. It is going to be a different defense, though. And I am okay sacrificing some of the takeaways, some of the turnovers, if it leads to more consistency, better results against the run, not getting punched in the mouth, and better results in December and January. That's things we've said for several years now. At some point, I hope it actually does come to fruition. So what side of the ball right now do you have more confidence in? O for the offense or D for the defense? Now, when it comes to the starters, quote-unquote, on your front four, I'd say this is pretty much set. Let's begin with the edges here. Micah Parsons, first up. No-brainer here. Look, they'll move him around as they should, but he's going to be a pass rusher. I think Mike Zimmer, borrow a phrase from our good buddy, I think it was Joseph Randall, thinks there's some meat on the bones still with maximizing Micah as a football player. I think Tank Lawrence, by the way, is a perfect fit for what Mike Zimmer wants to do, kind of that strong side, base defensive end. He is a fantastic run stopper. He has been your best and sometimes only good run stopper on the team up front for several years now. That's why some teams have identified if we can get away from Tank Lawrence, the run plays can work. That's why they'd like to do some inside up the middle stuff. Go to the left side when Tank's out there, or go to the right side when he's off. So those guys are going to be your starters, but it will be a rotation. So Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, Junior Feoko, can you guys contribute and improve from what they did last season? Interior defensive line-wise, obviously Oso Odighizuwa is one starter. The flashes are there. The finished product isn't quite there. I want to see full season-long consistency. We've seen some great moments overall. He's kind of, in a way, becoming Tank Lawrence 2.0, where, in a positive sense, he torches the New York Football Giants, like he kicks their asses. I want to see the same guy see in week 1 in week 16. It's a tall task. And you need Mazi Smith to not be bad. You spent a first-round pick on him. Like you don't have the depth along the defensive line to not get something out of Mazi Smith right now. Like if the season started today, maybe they'll sign a Linval Joseph or something. And even if you do, you need Mazi Smith to contribute. You can't just give up on a first-round pick, 15 months in. That's just not feasible. So will Mazi Smith bounce back in 2024? Y for yes and for no in the comments section. There's just no depth here, guys. We know that, right? It's Chauncey Golston, who still might be a defensive end. We'll figure out where the hell he plays. UDFA, Denzel Daxon. Carl Davis, who, isn't good. Sorry, Carl, if you're watching. And Justin Rogers, who I like, but was a 7th-round pick at defensive tackle. Maybe that he could be your Hankins or something. Not week 1, but week 17. I still want to sign people for them because I think this is a porous defensive line room. To linebacker, look, the plan is clear. They're going to try to have those defensive tackles, some bigger bodies on this roster, do a better job of not penetrating as much, not attacking, and more two-gapping, and keeping the linebackers free. Eric Kendricks is one clear-cut starter. And Dallas will use, frankly, vastly more base, which I call heavy personnel these days, which is 3 linebackers, than what they did last year. We can be honest about it. Even though Marquise Bell was a quote-unquote linebacker, he really wasn't. He was a safety who had to play linebacker out of necessity. He's not built like a linebacker. That's why he's going back to safety this year. I still want to utilize big nickel packages. I think you will see more of Eric Kendricks. DeMarvion Overshown, that is my number 1 breakout candidate. I want him to play great this year. Damone Clark, I am not out on, but I am worried about. Maurice Leofau's probably your 4th linebacker. You're a little thin. I wouldn't be mad if you added some talent there. Kind of sounds, by the way, like I forgot to update this, but sounds like Byron Vaughns might play some off-ball linebacker. We'll know more about that later on. You're better in the top 4. Injuries happen. You're right back where we were a year ago. We will have more Cowboys news and rumors, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button for more free Cowboys updates right now. Cornerback room is super easy. It's Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Jordan Lewis as your starters. Hopefully everyone stays healthy. If they do, it's a very good cornerback room with lots of playmaking. Playmaking might dip a little bit this year in terms of, you're probably not going to have another massive interception pick 6 season from Deron Bland. But if the overall, get a field on 3rd down stuff improves, it's fine. I'm kind of intrigued by safety. I got this idea in my head of maybe Marquise Bell could beat out Donovan Wilson for safety too. Am I crazy? You can tell me I'm crazy in the comments. I thought Marquise Bell was your best box player last year. That's safeties and linebackers, not including Lee Hooker. A lot of things I liked. He was all over the field. There were moments Donovan Wilson still just a little bit inconsistent. There are moments I'm like, oh, Donovan. There were several games last year where Donovan Wilson played well. Cowboys often won. Kind of one of those X Factor guys where he was making plays on defense, like that Eagles game. He played so well, but the first time or the second time, excuse me. When he's making plays, it normally means the entire defense is clicking properly. And there were also games where he was kind of MIA. There were too many busts in that secondary down the stretch last year. Safeties get some blame there. Has to be better. So rate this Cowboys roster Madden style. Obviously, we've been doing our Madden sims. I'll make note, the updated Madden rosters that we're using have the Cowboys as an 83, if that influences your ratings there. But rate that Cowboys roster Madden style for me right now. I will include the specialists, even though some of them I don't believe are people. Our alien, Brandon Aubrey, is your kicker, obviously. Brian Anger is going to be your punter. Trent Siggs, your long snapper. Kevontae Turpin is your number 1 return man. I wonder if Deuce Vaughn is return man number 2. And I'm curious, I want to see how it's deployed in camp and stuff. How does John Fossil adjust to these new kick return rules? Will they try to kick away from Kevontae Turpin? If so, do they have somebody else back there? And if they do, who is it? Maybe that's how Deuce Vaughn makes this Cowboys roster in 2024.